Hi students, welcome back to this channel. Today we are going to study part 5 of the video series of class 11 physics chapter number 6 work energy and power. So this video is totally dedicated to the topic of collision. Now a collision is said to occur between two bodies. Uh, in two cases we can say that collision has occurred. Either they physically collide against each other, or if the path of one object is affected by the force exerted by other object. So in these two cases we say that collision has occurred. Okay. Now collision are of many types. If I say there is elastic collision, inelastic collision, perfectly inelastic collision, super elastic collision, head on or one dimensional collision, and oblique or two dimensional collisions. So in total there are almost 6 different type of collision. But here we are focusing on elastic and inelastic collision, and we will also obtain few formulas related to the collision. So first of all, what is elastic collision? If there is no loss of kinetic energy during any collision, it is called an elastic collision. In elastic collision, momentum is conserved, total energy is also conserved, kinetic energy is also conserved, and forces involved in elastic collision are conservative forces. For example, collision between glass spheres, collision between subatomic particles are nearly elastic collision. What is inelastic collision? If there is a loss of kinetic energy during a collision, it is said to be an inelastic collision. In that, momentum is conserved, total energy is conserved, kinetic energy is not conserved. Make sure kinetic energy is not conserved, and forces which are acting in inelastic collision aren't conservative. Examples: colliding vehicles, ball colliding into floor, etc. are example of inelastic collision. Now, let us start with the first main topic, and we will be deriving formulas of velocities after collision. But now this elastic collision is in one dimension. So from the figure you can see that we have two elastic bodies, mass m1 and m2. They are moving along initial velocities u1 and u2. After some time, if they both collide, after collision they move with different velocities, namely v1 and v2. Note one thing, that the mass is not going to change because it is always constant. Now, as linear momentum is conserved, we can write m1 u1 plus m2 u2 equals to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. Okay. Now changing that, taking m1 terms on one side and terms containing m2 on one side. So here we have m1 u1, m1 v1 comes to the left hand side, becomes minus m1 v1. Same way m2 v2 was there on right hand side. Now from left hand side m2 u2 came on the right hand side. So just the displacement. Now m1 is common in left hand side and m2 is common on right hand side. So what I did, m1 common, so in the bracket u1 minus v1, m2 common, v2 minus u2. Now this, let us name this as second number of equation. Now linear momentum is over. Now second important point, that kinetic energy is also conserved. So we can write half m1 u1 square plus half m2 u2 square equals to half m1 v1 square plus half m2 v2 square. Now half is taken common and cancelled from both the sides. So ultimately now we have m1 u1 square plus m2 u2 square equals to m1 v1 square plus m2 v2 square. Now again, what if we bring the terms containing m1 on one side and m2 on other side? So now we have m1 u1 square minus m1 v1 square equals to m2 v2 square minus m2 v2 square. Now if we take common m1 and m2 on both the sides, we will have m1 into u1 square minus v1 square, and we know in mathematics we have understood the identity difference of two square, one time plus and one time minus, right? So u1 square minus v1 square will become u1 plus v1, u1 minus v1. Over here v2 minus u2 square, so v2 plus u2, v2 minus u2. Let us name this as equation 3. Now remember equation 1, 2 and 3. What we are going to do now is we are dividing equation 3 with equation 2. So dividing equation 3 by 2, we get u1 plus v1 equals to u2 plus v2. Right? Rest other things are cancelled. Now from this equation, we can make a formula for v2. What is v2? v2 is u1 minus u2 plus v1. Right? This u2 over here along with v2, this u2 is taken on this side. So u1 minus u2 plus v1. Now let us replace this value of v2 in our original equation 1. So equation 1 was m1 u1 m2 u2 m1 v1 m2 v2. So keeping everything same, just we have replaced v2 and that is u1 minus u2 plus v1. Now everything again will be same, just multiply m2 with u1, then u2, then v1, 1 by 1. So your equation turn out to be like this. Now you see, what we have done is, over here we had m1 u1 m2 u2. Here we have m1 v1 plus m2 u1 minus m2 u2 plus m2 v1. Now what we have to do is to keep the term containing v1 on one side and rest everything on other side. Right? So m1 v1 will remain over here on the right hand side, m2 v1 on the right hand side, except these two terms will go on the left hand side. Right? So taking u1 common, your scenario will be like m1 minus m2 into u1 plus 2 m2 u2 equals to m1 plus m2 into v1. Now for finding the formula of v1, what you have to do, you just have to take this bracket on the other side and divide. So finally we have the formula of v1, that is equal to first term m1 minus m2 upon m1 plus m2 into u1. Second term 2m2 u2 upon m1 plus m2. So if you want to find out after collision what is the velocity of the first object v1, you will use this formula. Same way we can make a formula for v2, and that is m2 minus m1 upon m1 plus m2 u2 plus 2m1 plus m1 plus m2 into u1. So this is for v2. So now we have this equation 5 and 6 for finding velocities of v1 and v2. Right? And v1 and v2 is nothing but they are the velocities after collision in one dimension. Why this complexity? Because we are studying elastic collision where kinetic energy is also conserved, total energy is also conserved, and momentum is also conserved. That is why the steps are little bit lengthy. Do step by step, you will understand everything. Now moving on to elastic collision in two dimension. Over here let us see the figure. Here we had an object of mass m1 moving initial velocity u1. Here m2 is at rest, so initial velocity of m2 will be 0. Right? After collision, after colliding, these both particle will come into motion. Right? m1 was already in motion, so it will go in this direction, making angle theta 1, and m2 which was at rest now moves towards this direction, making angle theta 2. So let us find out few formulas related to elastic collision in two dimensions. Now, after the collision, the rectangular components of momentum of m1 will be m1 v1 cos theta 1. Now, m1 v1 cos theta 1, if you see over here, m1 v1 cos theta 1, it is along the positive x-axis. Right? Next is m1 v1 sin theta 1, it is along positive y-axis. m1 v1 sin theta 1, you can see in the figure. Same way for the m2, rectangular components are m2 v2 cos theta 2 along positive x-axis and m2 v2 sin theta 2. Over here you notice it is towards negative y-axis. Right? So what we did, just we have splitted the components of both the objects, components of momentum. Now why momentum? Because conservation of momentum takes place. Right? So applying the principle of conservation of momentum along x-axis, only x-axis, So you will see along this direction, right? From left to right. Clear? So you see here before collision m1 u1 was there because m2 u2 was 0. After collision m1 v1 cos theta 1 over here on this side x axis positive x side, and m2 v2 cos theta 2 over positive x axis, right? So all are moving from left to right, so we are applying the law of principle of conservation of momentum. Before collision m1 u1, after collision these two. Clear? Same way, if you see along y axis, so you can clearly see that the ball was moving on the x axis only. So before collision there was no component along the y axis, right? So if you are moving on x axis you have 0 component on y axis. So before collision it is put 0. After collision you can see m1 v1 sin theta 1 is towards positive x axis, so plus, and m2 v2 sin theta 2 is towards negative y axis, so minus. Clear? So this is the component formula along the y axis. Now one thing again we shall remember, that kinetic energy is also conserved, right? So before collision, after collision, kinetic energy will be same. Now what was the kinetic energy of m1 object 1 before collision? So it will be half m1 u1 square. If you see, the object m2 was at rest, so u2 is 0, so half m2 u2 square will also be 0. So only on the left hand side before collision half m1 u1 square will be written. After collision both the objects are moving, so we can write half m1 v1 square plus half m2 v2 square, because both of them are having kinetic energy. Before collision only one object was having kinetic energy, other was at rest, right? So now you see the four unknown quantities, which were the quantities v1, v2, theta 1, theta 2, because m1 m2 we will be knowing before, mass is always constant. So four remaining unknown quantities v1, v2, theta 1, theta 2 cannot be calculated using these three equations, right? Because we need one value. So one of the four unknown, say theta 1, right? Any one of the value you take, this has to be found out experimentally, then only using these three equations we can calculate the three remaining unknowns, right? So this was all related to elastic collision. We have seen in one dimension also, we have seen in two dimensions also. Note that in one dimension we calculated, or we derived the formula of v1 and v2, but in elastic collision in two dimensions we are not specifically deriving any formula, but we are deriving equations using which we can find out the answers, right? So that's all for this video. The theoretical topics of chapter number 6 is over by this. Clear? Thank you.